Hi students, today we are going to see in our 11th standard English a poem Once Upon a Time written by Gabriel Okera, a Nigerian poet. In that, first we are going to see glossary and next about Gabriel Okera author introduction, then in what situation, in what background the poem is written, after that stanza wise explanations, and the next our examinations patterns, paragraphs, appreciation, poetical device and ERC all will be seen today. And the first glossary. The words which are written by the poet is very easiest. That's why I have taken praise. You know individual word meaning, the praise meaning in the poem. Laugh with their teeth, laugh without associated emotions. Ice block cold eyes lacking a feeling of warmth of endearing expression, no any happy expression, and wholehearted way it is not that laugh. Such behind my shadows, people are hypocritical and what they don't mean what they say. What they say is not they are really want to say. They are saying a fake message. Indeed, something which does exist and what is now existing. Search my empty pockets, evaluating the narrator's worth and power. They are searching my background. That's why evaluating the narrator's worth and power. Here in our poem, the phrase given search my empty pockets. Cocktail face showing mixed emotions, and all emotions are there in it. Then fixed portrait smile, standard deceitful artificial smile in all occasions, not wholehearted smile, not spontaneous laugh. It is just artificial smile on all occasions. A good returns, free from an unwanted person. A meeting, it is speechless, expressionless. Fangs, a teeth of enormous snake. Teeth which poisonous snake at both sides. It's called fangs. And these are the phrase and some individual words which meaning according to this poem. And now we will see about Gabriel Okera. Gabriel Okera, a Nigerian poet. Nigeria is in Western Africa, one among the Western African countries. He was born in April 24, 1921. A place called Bumuli. In Nigeria. This is his birthplace, this is birth date and year. Then his education, he started his education in 3 different places. And one is in his native village, their town, that is his school. Then Yaba College in same Nigeria. Then he got his post-graduation degree in Northwestern University. And these are the 3 places where he learned about his parent and siblings and families, and no matter in his biography. He has written his education and his work, poem and also prose. And after completion of his degree, he joined in 1960 civil service. In civil service, he worked as a director in many departments of this country. A civil surgeon, that is service person, head of a district or a department, he worked so. Then the country was under British in up to 1960. They got independence October 1960. This was also a country coming under British colonial in the later part of the 18th century and up to the mid part of the 20th century. And then He started to write poem and published it in a periodical of a newspaper called Block RPS. He published in it Block RPS, and all those were combined together. Again he published a volume of poem. This is one. This Once Upon a Time is taken from this volume of the poem, and other than that he wrote The Call of a River Nun. This is one. And The Voice. The Voice is a novel, and it is example an outstanding experiment for linguistic, how the Nigerian language and how it got influence of British in it, and all he wrote it. Then The Man and the Art, and this is one he wrote. Then The Fisherman's Innovations. This is another story. And other than that, he wrote two stories for children, and one is The Little Snake and The Little Frog, and another is An Adventure to Juju Island. These were the two children's stories he wrote. And awards he got is for that The Call on the River Nun. He got award by the Nigerian Literature in 1953 in one of the festivals they celebrated, Literature Festival. In that he was honored by giving that award. And another award is also he got for his all writings, poetry, by the Commonwealth Society. He was honored for his poetry by the Commonwealth Society. This is all of his award. Then about his writings, generally how his writing is, about that African style. He brought things in this writing saying indirectly about African people, that is imagery, folklore, and all in depth consisting of that. Then generally his poem begins moving in a one place and goes out of the syllabus and talks all, and again finishing and reaching to where it started, a complete circle. It makes a complete circle, and this is how he used to write the poem. He became familiar. Then all what he had done was he passed away on 25th March 2019, just last year, a few days before his 98th birthday. Totally he lived 97 years. He leaves us a legacy, novel, poem, and his life itself. And then we will see the poem Stanza Wise. You see the title Once Upon a Time. You know the meaning, all easiest words, long ago, some years ago. The meaning is some years ago. According to this poet Gabriel Okara, he divides this year long ago, that is once upon a time, before British entering in Nigeria and after entering, that is got independence and they went to their homeland, and after that he divides into that. In that way he brought background to explaining about the country people, remembering their past character. Gabriel Okara remembers how they lived before entering in their country, and this was the background of the poem. Why he wrote this is to explain the things how they were once in their nation. He starts like this. The poem is addressed to his beloved son. The beloved son means the African people. He addressed to the African people. Generally the son is considered as daughter too, common gender here. It is a monologue. Monologue is saying about that only one person without any interference. And he says, once upon a time, son, long ago, my dear son, they used to laugh with their hearts. Wholeheartedly they laughed. Wholeheartedly they laughed. The once upon a time is before the Western culture influenced Africa, that is Nigeria. They used to laugh with their hearts. Wholeheartedly, openly they laughed. And laugh with their eyes, had to express warmth expressions in it. But you see now, they laugh with their teeth. Just they are pressing up, and they are opening their mouth and showing their teeth, saying that it is laugh. While their ice block cold eyes search behind my shadows. And you see here, the ice block cold eyes, the eyes which are not having that real expression, some fake expression, search behind my shadows. And he says here, the hypocritical, the people are hypocritical. They are not real. So I am saying about the laugh. The ice block cold eyes, as I told you, metaphor. The figure of speech usually in here is metaphor. The cold ice is compared to the ice block. Such behind my shadows means the people are not real, they are hypocritical. In hypocritically, they are behaving, showing their teeth as a laugh. Really, it was not laugh. Next answer, there was a time indeed, they asked to shake hands with their hearts. But that's gone, son. Now they shake hands without hearts, while their left hands search my empty pockets. And this is next stanza. You see, there was a time indeed existed, and once a time they used to shake hands with their hearts. Wholeheartedly they gave handshake, wholeheartedly, but that has gone, son. And nowadays there is no like that. Now they shake hands without wholehearted, that is without hearts. In the first stanza, he talked about how the people behaves, their laugh, about love. Here, handshake. In this stanza, he talks about handshake. Now they shake hands without the hearts, wholeheartedly. Without wholeheartedly, they are giving handshake. While their left hand searches in other side, they are noticing our background. That is, our empty pockets means here. Our power, wealth, rich, poor, our property worth, our influence worth is evaluated. So in this stanza, the poet says about the peoples how they give a handshake without wholeheartedly. And then, once upon a time, they gave a handshake with wholeheartedly. But now the handshake is not real, it is false, it is unreal. And their left hand is, of course, searching. Right hand is giving for handshake, and left hand is searching their power, worth, rich, and other items or influences of the person in the society and all motives. So in this stanza, he talks about handshake, how the people are giving handshake, with wholehearted or not wholehearted. They are really not giving wholehearted. They are searching behind us and finding our worth, and according to that they give. Then third stanza, feel at home, come again. They say, and when I come again and feel at home, once, twice, there will be no thrice. For then I find doors shut on me. The third stanza, they invite us. Why don't you come to our home? It is like your home, you come. That is the invitation. Feel at home, come again. If we go, they may ask us, come. Whenever you go in this way, pay a visit to our home. They say, and when I come, if I come, again and feel at home. Second time also they say, they ask us to come. Once, twice, only 2 times. There will be no thrice. Finding all our history, and third time they won't call us. If you are poor, you are not familiar person, by using him they cannot solve any of the problem. When they see, for then I find doors shut on me. They close the door. They want to open it at all at the third time by knowing our background and our familiarity. If we are a good background and well-wealthy person, they will call it the third time also. These are the reflection we have got from some other Western countries, some other Western character. In third stanza, he says about calling and rejecting. The poet calling and rejecting. We will see next stanza. What we have seen, dear students, the first stanza about our artificial love, then second stanza about our handshake, then in the third we have seen about how we call the people to our home, and once and twice and about thrice. And here in this stanza, so I have learned many things. He concludes what are the things the poet learned. To his son he says, so I have learned many things, son. I have learned to wear many faces. I change my faces, many faces. He says, like dresses, how we change our dress every day, like I change my faces according to the places I go. You see, home face, what are the face he uses? Home face, office face, street face, host face. Host face means when guest comes, artificially laughing and calling them and treating them. That is host face. And cocktail face. You see here the meaning what we have seen. Cocktail means some mixed emotional face. Some mixed emotional face, and with all their conforming smiles for everything. The home face, I know how I want to keep my face in the home. Then in office, I know how should it kept. Then street is how I should behave with the people with face. Then if any guest comes, then all mixed emotional face with all their conforming smile, like a fixed portrait smile. We have seen already what is the meaning of portrait. Portrait means a photo smile. Photo smile for giving pose. The photographer may ask us, smile please. We make artificial. So he says, all these are artificial. My original is secretly hiding inside, not coming out. Because this is the present, the modern generation's behavior, he says. In this stanza, he says about the faces, how he learned. He says to his son, he learned many faces, and in house one face, then office another face, in market another face, and when meeting any guest one face, and all cocktail face, means the emotional face. That is conforming smile. Every day he keeps like a photograph. That smile is kept like a fixed portrait smile. All artificial smile, not natural smile. And in this stanza, he talks about faces of our expressions to move with the people relating with us. Then in the next stanza, and I have learned to laugh with only my teeth. He feels sorry for learning from the modern society. He too artificially opens his mouth and shows his teeth. He says to his son, showing teeth is a kind of love, artificial love. And shake hands without my heart. Wholeheartedly I am not giving any handshake. Artificially I am giving. Then we say, I have also learned to say goodbye. When we meet our friends, we say goodbye. Does it mean that good riddance? He says, you see, when I mean good riddance. Good riddance means we are free from some unwanted person. Good riddance means we take free from some unwanted persons. In the meaning of good riddance, I say goodbye. To say glad to meet you without being glad. We say happy to meet you, but actually we will be boring to meet them. The actual meaning is to say glad to meet you without being glad, and say it has been nice to talking to you after being bored. After a lot of bored, we got talking with a particular person. And we say, you see the sentence, it has been nice talking to you. So all in controversial and opposite. In this stanza, he says what he all learned. He learned. This means, teeth showing means they are love. And answering means not with full wholehearted. Then what does he mean good day? Goodbye means good riddance. What does this mean? Glad to meet you? That is without being glad. The meeting is not nice. Then he says it has been nice talking to you after being bored. After a lot of things, he himself reveals all the unwanted things he learned from this modern society. For that, he says this and all to his beloved son, and what purpose we see in the next stanza. He requests his son, but believe me, son, He asked his son to believe me. I want to be what I used to be. I like how I was once upon a time. Like that. All my character I wanted. I want to be what I used to be. He was once a good person, an honorable, genuine person. He wanted that things ahead. When I was like you, he says, when I was like you very young, I was very honest, genuine person. Now, he changed according to the people. I want to unlearn all these meeting things. And he says, unlearn all these meeting things, most of all, I want to relearn. All the things which we had good habit, all now in meeting. Meeting means but not speechless. They are all hiding inside, become secret. I want to learn it. I want to relearn down how to laugh or my laugh in the mirror shows only my teeth like a snake's dark fangs. My teeth is shown in the mirror like snake's teeth, which are lot of venomous. Whenever the people open, of course, they vomit, they spit through their words, according to the poet. That's why he uses such bare fangs. Bare fangs means here the fangs is the snake teeth, which are a lot of poison in it. Inject poison to the people through the words. I do that is used to talk like other people using some hard words, hurting people. So in this stanza, he wanted to reveal, that is, he wanted to go back how he was once upon a time. Once upon a time, he was a genuine person. All those good characters are now kept secret, that is muted. But instead of that, according to this society, he now also behaving. That's why he compares his behavior the bare fangs of snakes, that is snakes' teeth. He requests his son, so show me son, how to laugh. Show me how. He asks and stresses his son, you are now young and you don't have any cunningness in your mind and there is no any deceitful character inside you, and I want to be like you. When once upon a time I was like you, I used to laugh and smile. Once upon a time, broad-mindedly, without any cunningness in my mind, I laughed. I want that laugh. Teach me. Once upon a time, when I was like you, I had those characters. Now I want to relearn them. He says here, relearn. I want to relearn all those things which are muted. So son, I want to learn from you. You teach me. And generally the poet, stanza wise, from first stanza to last stanza, he says about the duplicity and falsity of the society. He condemns the society's character. And total conclusion of the poem, he compares the olden days character of the people and according to his country, after the British influence, how the people became like modern people, have a lot of policy characters. Society wanted to mend. The aim of the poem written by the poet is, they want to be real. They don't want any duplicit characters. The falsity should be removed from the society. That is the wish of the poet. We will see next ERC, appreciation, and poetical device and paragraph in short way. Students, now we will see the examination point of view, how to write ERCs and appreciation and poetical device, and then paragraph. And I have taken one example. I have learned to wear my faces like dresses. You see these two lines, they are asking you to explain with reference to the context. As usual, you know that there are three divisions in it, namely, first one is a reference, and there it is taken from and written by whom is in the reference. Then explaining what situation the poem line has been written by the poet. Next, and second you write context. Context, that means that meaning of the given line. Then third explanation, in what sense the poet has pushed to write those words. And lastly, you may write comment. And these are the four parts. In your full page, in open page, you write first reference. These lines are taken from the poem Once Upon a Time, written by Gabriel O'Carroll. Or this is taken from the poem Once Upon a Time, written by Gabriel O'Carroll, a Nigerian poet. That is reference carries a mark. And go to now context. Context is meaning of the given line. The poet learned to wear many faces. That means the poet learned lot of other characters from modern society. You write in context the meaning of the line. Then explanation you write, as the public is so, we cannot be different. All what the laughing is also fake, and the handshake is also not real, and calling home is also not in right. But in the explanation he says, we want to write the faces, different faces of home face, office space, street space, and then cocktail space, post space, and all. In different places, in different type of character we use. Alright, in that situation the poet has been pushed to write these lines. Changing of the character is changing of the faces. And write comment in a single line. He condemns the modern people, particularly adult. He condemns the adult of having some artificial character. And this is how we should finish CRC. And whatever be the line given, you read it. After reading, this is only one poem, so you know the title Once Upon a Time. Like we have 6 poems, in which poem and which line is taken. That should be known to us, only then we will be clear to write poem title and poet name. Keep in mind, students are these 4: reference, context, explanations, and comment. And now, appreciation. But now, they only laugh with their teeth, while their eyes block cold eyes. The 2 line is given. Who are they? Here they. Who are they? They are modern people, using some, having artificial character. And they explain eyes block cold eyes. In that their eyes are not natural, it is artificial, it does not contain any warmth. There is no any warmth in it. The real expression is not in their eye. Identify the figure of speech used here. As I told you while teaching, comparison is done without like and as, so it should be metaphor. The figure of speech used by the poet in this line is metaphor. And this is how we should answer appreciation, that is poetical device and appreciation. Then paragraph, generally they may give like this. This poem is nothing but a criticism of modern life. It is a criticism of modern life. This poem is. Justify this statement. Through this poem, Once Upon a Time, written by Gabriel O'Carroll. And this is how they set question paper in public. And that time you start from that beginning stanza. And what is that stanza? He first talks about love. Then he talks about handshake. Then he talks about calling home. And in the 4th stanza he says about different kinds of faces. And in the 5th stanza he accepts he is also one among the modern society. He learned all those bad characters. And in the 6th stanza he asks, he pleaded his son, he wanted to change all those characters. Like when he was a boy, he had a good character, that good characters would be again brought, and he want to be like Once Upon a Time. And finally he concludes, and stressing his son, you teach me, how should I want to begin? How should I bring my past characters, which are mute and secret? He asks us. And this is how the poet wrote all in his stanzas, stressing and criticizing the character of the middle-aged or adult people in this modern society. This poem is fit to entire world, not only to Nigeria. However, the Nigerian poet Gabriel O'Carroll wrote about the influence of Western character in his country and all these Commonwealth countries. Commonwealth countries means the countries which were once under British rule, all have influencing of the British character. So India too once upon a time a colonial nation under British rule, and we too have changed. That is why it is kept in our syllabus. The children, you want to be at least real. Then finally you write conclusion. The poet condemns the falsity of the adult. You stress this point. Adults should change their character. They want to be natural, not the duplicity should be buried according to this poet. And this is how we should finish this paragraph. While writing stanza wise meaning, you give title. First they talk about laugh, you may give laughing, and next they give talk about handshake. That time you give handshake is the title, and third time is calling them to the home. In that stanza you give the title, and fourth about face, different kinds of face, and that time you give the title, and fifth the poet to learn. The poet himself became modern people, and that title he, then in the sixth stanza in his concluding lines he requests his son, to his son, title you give like that, and then finally you write conclusion. The poet condemns the falsity of the society. The poet criticizes the modern people and adults. And children, today we have learned from that glossary then about the author, and next we have seen stanza wise meaning, all the stanzas, then the entire summary. And after that we learned about ERCs, and then appreciation, finally how to attempt paragraph question, that is summary including theme. The poet's wish is he wanted to relearn all the past, he wanted to unlearn all the present. And go through this poem, children, and if you have any doubt you will see in the class, and also you can ask and contact the contact number we have given. Thank you, student. Wish you all the best.